Hello, everybody, and welcome to what turned out to be a very rushed episode of the Rick Simon Show.
Woo!
Apologies. Unfortunately, Rick wasn't able to make it today. Neither was West Side. They both have respective things that they had going on today. West Side is in Vegas, and Rick isn't answering his phone. So whatever. However, returning and always a pleasure to have on the show. Today we have Tim Rafferty again.
What up?
What up, buddy?
Chilling.
How's your week been?
Vibing. I busted out a third draft of a script I'm working on. That was fun.
Ooh.
But now my brain hurts and I just want to fucking chill.
I'm not. I don't write at all, so I don't know kind of, I guess, what goes into it.
Yeah.
So what made it so, I guess,
Well,
tiresome?
Here's the thing. Like I know a good bit about screenwriting, but I also know how much I don't know. You know? So it was a little stressful, like fixing my third draft, making it better. But I told my buddy, I said, "Hey, dude, I got this third draft. I think it's so much better," and I sent it to him prematurely because seconds after I sent it, I was like, "Oh fuck, no, this is still terrible."
What was like terrible about it?
I was like, "What am I trying to say with this? Like, what? Like, I thought I was saying something with it, but it just needs to be stronger, thematically and structurally." Whatever that means.
But I was gonna say, what does that mean? What's
I'm writing about a guy who,
what is it that you feel that's not complete about it? Is it the character development, or is it the story, the plot, the art? What's
okay? So I feel like I'm not. So one of the themes is father-son relationships, and he's putting everything else in his life is his comedy career before his dad, and he's also really self-conscious about it, not about his dad, just about his comedy, and I'm not testing him enough. I don't think it's not as compelling. It's just kind of situational as opposed to a story, you know. It's he's in this situation, but I'm not really driving home the fact that, wow, this guy really is insecure, but he's trying to do something where you need to have confidence, you know?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it seems to be more about a character development.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, and character really is story, you know. I mean, it's about the choices they make in the stressful, fucking hard decision making situations, you know. And I feel like I failed and didn't handle it as deftly as I wanted to. But that's what writing's about. Writing's about rewriting and fucking learning, you know?
Right.
And I feel like the more I do it, I'm working on myself, you know, because I have some of those same issues, you know, in my life. But I'm not writing necessarily from experience, but I'm writing from just a relatability standpoint.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah, that's one thing that I guess I've always struggled with is I hate writing, putting even though I have notebooks and pads and all these things, it's just the pen to paper is just so tedious and mundane to me.
Yeah.
And it's I guess I don't know, I have so many things that I like to say or that I'd like to write about, or even when I did music and stuff, it just the writing process always sucked. I always preferred the performance aspect of things.
Yeah, I got you. I also want to add, if I get to a point in this script where I feel like it's good enough to be produced, I'm definitely gonna act in it. That's the performance part. That's why I really want to make this. Everybody wants to make their stories good, but
Have you acted before?
yes, very minimally. I went to acting. I took acting classes. Had a coach for 3 or 4 months last year, and that was it. So what I decided is this year I'm gonna take 6 months, first half of the year, to focus on writing. Then the last 6 months I'm gonna try and produce somebody's short. I'm gonna try and produce my own short, and this is kind of ambitious, but and produce my own short and take acting class.
what aspect of producing are you trying to do?
Um, well, for my own production, I don't know. I definitely don't have any money to finance it. So
Is that like what you want to do as far as producing? Is like you want to be like the person who goes and finds the financing, or are you trying to like more or less creatively produce where it's like
I want to creatively.
okay, you want to like find crew and you want to
Yeah.
find locations and like,
Yeah.
all that kind of.
Yep, that's exactly what I want to do. However, I have some of my best friends produce small budget short films, you know. So and they're really good at it. Actually, man, my buddy's doing a GoFundMe right now for a short film that I kind of believe in about a girl who had a traumatic history with her boyfriends. You know, it's like a all compiled into one story. I don't know if there's a way to link that. I don't know if you'd be comfortable doing that.
What?
Link into their GoFundMe.
I could put a link to the GoFundMe, sure.
Sweet, yeah.
Send me the link
send
and
you a link.
I'll put it on. It'll be in the video. When the video, the episode officially drops, it'll be down in the description so you guys can all check it out.
Sweet. Yeah, the guy who's producing, my buddy Arthur, I would not do this. I would have not done this for anybody except for maybe myself and this guy. Like he's golden. He's he's the holy grail of best friends, and my buddy Brian too. But I didn't want to not throw him in the group.
Just yeah, you got to make sure that you shout out both of them.
Yeah,
one over the other, you know.
Yeah, well, my buddy Brian's come in and DPing for them for the LA because they shot in New York and LA, and so my buddy Brian's gonna help him out. He's they're both two of the best dudes I know. Next to you, of course.
Okay, hold on. Slow your roll. This is a E-list podcast at best.
Oh man.
So good, man. I'm glad to know that you've got like goals and whatnot for the year for sure. Because I've between you and I, everybody else who's watching,
everybody else.
I mean, I've been having such a rough time like lately, socializing with people, mainly because like I don't know how to say it, like because it's like it's not a bad thing. I can definitely do it on my own.
You have a hard time because you stay in the garage every day.
Well, it's not that. It's like I don't mind being like here in the garage and in the studio, but at the same time, it's like I have goals and I have like you know, I'm trying to obviously do this show and I want to do the Zedork Nerd and the Hourglass Radio and whatever. So as I'm doing these things, it's like those are all goal oriented, right? Like I'd like to build a channel, something that gains some kind of traction and some kind of, you know, attention and whatnot. But I'm having such a hard time doing that because there's quite a few people that I know that just don't have that drive or ambition. You know, there's been a handful of people that I've hit up and been like, hey, like, you know, we're all production, we're not doing anything, like let's all start working on this, you know. And the amount of times that people have been like, yeah, that sounds great, you know, absolutely, I'd love to, you know, whatever, it keeps us production ready and, you know, we learn little tips and tricks and insights and all that. But when it comes to, it's just like if it's not making money, people like aren't interested, and it's like, but it potentially could. And nonetheless, what's it hurt to harness a craft, learn something new? You know, the streaming is completely different. Like as much as I've worked in production and have a background and all that, you know, this whole streaming thing is completely new and different to me. Having to figure out what cameras will work so that way, you know, it's no surprise for anybody watching. But I'm sitting here trying to control this all at the same time, you know. And as I'm doing all this, it's hard to focus, host, have questions, come up with the topics, hold a conversation while doing the, like, you know, it definitely gets hard and tiresome. And if it's not done in this format, for me anyway, for me personally, Like, I can't go back and review my own footage. I can't go back and edit my own stuff because I have a vision in my head that if I don't have one thing, it just stops me immediately. Like, my brain doesn't work like that. So yeah, I've reached out to like editors and friends and whatever, and basically the long story long, and what I'm getting at is it's like I've created a whole thing where it's like, hey, we're all production. We should all just keep kind of moving forward and learning and growing and doing all these things. This is a whole different world that now we can get into if we start learning how streaming works and all that.
It might be like this for a while starting out, but the more followers you gain, the more interest people are like, oh, you really? Yeah. Then they want to work with you.
Of course. And that's why I'm going as gung-ho as I can with it by myself to the ability that I am capable of. But the part that I was trying to get to is it's nice to hear that you have goals and things that you're trying to do on your own, regardless of what the outcome is, simply because there has been a lull within the people that I know close and personally that it's just hard because it's like I want to do something. I want to be something. I want to create, and people are just like, whatever. And don't get me wrong, to each their own. Everybody's allowed to be, have their days off and whatnot, and I have it myself. But it's just I'm motivated by motivation of those around me, and it really just lights a fire under my ass when somebody's like passionate about something or really wants to learn or do something new. And I've been kind of lacking that.
Yeah, I get you. Man, I had an idea. I might have told you last time. Did you put up the last episode we did?
No? I believe it's scheduled. I don't know if it's come out yet. I've honestly lost track of like what does and doesn't come out. I think our first episode has come out already. I think you were the first episode to come out. Well, I appreciate you for coming on, man. I mean, regardless of each podcast and episode, they grow and get better, the more comfortable you get. I'm busy trying to do all this, and this isn't second nature to me just yet, and whatnot. So getting people and friends and others to come on, has been great. And I just, at the end of the day, I love seeing you, man. It's great to see you and just sit around and have a conversation regardless of the topics.
So I'm gonna tell you again, just because we're talking about like this kind of stuff, podcasts and like streaming and stuff. I had an idea, and I think I talked about it last time, but I'll mention it again. I have an idea to do I wanted to do a travel show eventually, but that's like after if I decide to do it, or when I decide to do it, like you have to gain followers, really work before you actually. Anyway, so I want to put out an ad on Craigslist saying about getting in touch with comedians with dead dads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be fun to do. I need like you needing somebody to produce for you. I need somebody that can operate a camera and like kind of on the fly, like run and gun and like produce for me. And I have friends that can do that, but they're not. One of them, the one guy I want to do it, he doesn't live here. So that's the thing.
Speaking of little travel shows, I'm down to help you out with yours. Again, it's the market of having fun, and I've got this and shit, man. If you want the show, you can always put it up on my channel, no pressure. But it's like that's what I created all this for, was simply, fuck it, dude. I'm a 30-year-old, kid. It's like, what did you want to do when you were a kid? And the camcorders and all this stuff. And it's like now we're in a world where this all happens, and it's like, dude, I can be a talk show. Well, I mean, I'm not much of one, but it's like it's like you can do talk shows and do my own little radio shows and whatnot. But I'm absolutely down to help you out with that. However, so I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, I posted a meme not too long ago of a guy who I guess went to a fire station and was like, yeah, I'm going to see if they'll just let me sit in the truck. He's like, what's the worst that can happen, right? And then he posts later and he goes, holy shit, they let me do it. So I posted that meme. Now I want to do a road trip. I want to vlog a road trip. and I actually got hit up by a guy up in Sacramento. I've known it, or I knew him back in high school. We're still friends, but I don't know much about him these days. However, he reached out. Was like, "Hey man, if you ever find yourself up in Sacramento, I'll let you climb in the truck too." And I was like, "Get the fuck out!" So
now you want to hit up fucking
so now I want to do like a hybrid thing, because I have not yet taken my motorcycle out on a like long journey yet. I haven't done anything interstate wise. It's just I've stayed in Los Angeles, and I would love to take my bike, ride it. I think it's like 6 hours to Sacramento, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's about 6 hours.
And I would love to take my bike and ride it all the way up to Sacramento. Basically, record the whole thing, or not the whole thing, but record portions of it, right?
Dude, you could do a cool time lapse thing.
A time lapse of some sort. I want to get there. Basically, I want him to like show me around, and then I'd love to sit down and I could take some of this stuff with me and podcast with him. But I got an offer, and I think it would be interesting as shit.
Fuck yeah.
So if you have any interest in going to Sacramento, let me know for a weekend, and we'll go up there and we'll get a tour of a firehouse, and we can sit down with some firemen. And he said, what did he say? He said, I don't want to misquote him, and I don't want to make false promises. So let me pull it up real quick. He said, where are you at? All right, I can't find it quick enough. I'm not gonna hold it up, but it was something along the lines of like he'd let me go on ride-alongs as well. Yeah. So basically, he was like, "Yeah, he's like, if you come up here and we're doing this or whatever," he's like, absolutely, like I'll let you go on ride-alongs. And I was like, "Get the fuck out!" So again, if that was not the case, whatever, we can change it. But I think that's something along the lines of what he said. And so that would be dope as shit too. Sit there, be doing a podcast, get a fucking ring, and we're gonna pause this and take off. Like, so if you have any interest, man, we can go up to Sacramento and go check some shit out.
We should probably line up a few of those to do like a few different ones around California. Like to do like a series of them.
I mean, sorry. Yes, but I don't have that kind of time. I have enough time that like I could drive up. Like leave early Friday morning, get there by 2, 3, 4 in the afternoon, set everything up and be ready. Then Saturday would roll around, start the episode, and basically the way that I picture in my brain kind of the episode going is, start it around noon from the fire station, do the podcast live and stream it and have conversations. People could ask questions on like daily routines or what things are like. Obviously take some time to like film whatever they obviously do and don't allow us to film, but take some footage and whatnot, edit it in later, and then if there's a call, just hit pause on the podcast and we got to dip out and then come back and talk about what the fuck was happening. Like I don't know, there's so much hamster going on in my head after he was like, "Yo, come on up to Sacramento." I was like, "Get the fuck, yes, absolutely."
Okay, the main thing I want to know is, do they have a pole?
Do they have a pole?
Like they slide down.
I mean, maybe. I would assume that they like have to have a. I mean, I think it also depends on if the fire station is 2 stories.
Yeah, that's the number one thing I want to know.
Well, come on up to Sacramento with me. I could use a camera guy.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna say, okay. Maybe we can get into this.
Okay.
How you feel about throwing ass? I see people saying that all the time now. I just everywhere. People saying throwing ass.
I don't know what is that, like throwing shit?
No, that's what I would think. No, it's
what monkeys do?
Twerking, I think.
Twerking. So we called it twerking, and now we call it throwing ass.
So when I was in Louisiana
I had an Urban Dictionary.
Yeah. When I was in Louisiana for 2 weeks in my hometown, I heard throwing ass at least 3 times from 3 different people, and I was just on Twitter and I saw somebody say something about throwing ass, and I think it's hilarious. It's like I feel like See, this is what I'm about to say. Isn't
Throwing ass, defined by Urban Dictionary, is twerking, shaking your booty in a circle, or just shaking your booty in general, often done in clubs or on dance floors. Okay.
I usually throw ass when I'm in the shower. Or when I get out of the shower.
What was it? On the last episode, it was me and Bryce Colton, and he had brought up something about a priest. No, dude, we fell down a fucking rabbit hole. It started with a priest who died, said they went to hell, listened to Umbrella by Rihanna, like that's the song apparently that plays in hell, but did that, and then we fell down the rabbit hole because we had to like string along shit.
Yeah.
And we got to a point to where somebody was shitting in the Taco Bell beans, and somebody like quoted it as shittied, shittied, shittied. And I was like, is that even a word or is that a typo? And so I looked up shittied and immediately pulled up porn sites. I was like, oh shit. So we couldn't go much further in the research on it, but it was.
Does it actually mean shitting in the beans, or does it mean the butts? Like
it's like shittied, like if you were to put any fecal matter into a coffee or whatever, it becomes shittied. If this room, if there's a turd in the middle of the room, this room is shittied.
Like a blanket term for all forms of shit.
It's a blanket term for like all forms of like there's a poo present.
There's a poo present.
There's a present poo.
So when you flush your toilet and you have the toilet seat open, those millions of shit particles get into the air. Your air has been shittied.
Correct. Which also oddly drives me slightly fucking insane. I don't know how people live in a world. And it's just me. I know it's just me. But I don't know how people live in a world knowing that we're supposed to close a toilet seat and people just leave that shit open.
I didn't know
and then they flush and then it goes like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying it's airtight, like it still comes out of, whatever. But it's like when that thing is open, I'm like, that's gross.
Yeah.
I'm probably the only person that I've ever known that every time I do it, it like seat goes up, seat goes all the way back down.
Yeah, I do that now. I've been doing that for a year or two. I didn't know until like 2 years ago.
2 years?
34, dude. And a half.
Yeah, I have weird germ issues, but it's like they're weird based on society standards. They're not weird based on what we should be doing, and it drives me up the fucking wall. Like same thing with when it comes to people who like will just like leave food and bottles and boxes and trash like in their bedrooms. And it's like whether you realize it or not, like that's starting to cultivate shit. Like it's growing bacteria and it's gross. And I don't like I'm not OCD. I can get dirty. Like my hands are dirty now. Like I've been redoing the studio and all that, but like that kind of shit doesn't bother me. I'll lick my hands. They're dirt, but it's like when it comes to no, I'm not going to, but I could.
I was about to say prove it. Put your money where your mouth is.
I mean,
money's gross too. Oh no.
Yeah. It's just salty. But the thing that gets me is like the big things, trash or bottles, and like they've been in there for a week, and it's like, how do you like? I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and I've also because I've started like figuring out my little depression tics and whatnot, that I've started realizing if I just don't leave trash in my room, my bed is made every morning before I go take a shower. That way, when I come back from the shower, the room is like clean, and it makes your day better. So, but sorry, I keep kicking you.
It's okay, I enjoy it.
But the thing that gets me like the most is when it comes to like restrooms, whatever. It's like, dude, toilet seat up, toilet seat down.
Dude, I love when I see somebody at a urinal and they're pissing and they walk straight out of the bathroom without washing their hands. I'm like, do they not touch themselves? Their dicks?
Well, because
I figured out that I can do it without touching my dick. I just don't flush the toilet.
Here's the argument that I have. When it comes to public restrooms or places like that, Absolutely not. Like I don't even like I won't touch the faucets. I won't touch the doors. Like I know my dick's clean. So pee, walk out, whatever. And if I need to, hand sanitizer, like wash my hands in like in a better spot or whatever. But public restrooms, absolutely not. I have heard what the guy next to me is doing. I don't need to be any more part of get in, get out. That's
What do you do when you're in a situation where you gotta shake somebody's hand where you just saw them not wash their hands in the bathroom?
I mean, if I saw them,
But just do a fist bump, I guess.
fist bump, or I mean, just like a hey, like instead of reaching your hand out for the shake, how's it going?
Yeah.
But also that kind of stuff has also never bothered me. Like to be honest, like unless you're purposely shitting or pissing on your hands, like chances are, that it's not that bad.
Yeah, I only wash my hands once or twice a week, and that's when I shit on them. So
Hold on.
that's a George Carlin bit.
I'm not saying don't wash your hands. I'm just saying I know I'm cleaner than a public restroom.
Yeah. So I was in a situation a while back with this very prominent acting coach. She coached like Halle Berry and Brad Pitt and all kinds of people like that. And I audited her class, and I stayed after the class to meet her, and I was the last person in there besides her and her classroom monitor. And she went to shake my hand, and on my right hand I had 2 blisters that were like raised off my hand in purple. And I was like, I went to shake it. I was like, oh no, I can't shake your hand. It got really awkward, but it was so much fun. I didn't feel awkward because it's whatever. I don't give a shit. But it was. I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, but just the awkwardness of having to figure out. It went on for like 20 seconds trying to figure out how we were going to greet each other, like an unnecessarily long time. That's it.
Hi, that's it. Hi.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then we ended up going for the awkward. At that point, it was awkward. A fist bump.
Oh, the awkward fist, dude. COVID fucked everything up. I like even now. Like I used to be big on handshakes. I was raised very much in the aspect of like when you reach and grab somebody's hand and you shake their hand,
Pull them in for a kiss.
Well, not. Just because I greet you that way doesn't mean that that's how I greet everybody. But it's something about it's a mutual respect. It's a firm handshake. I trust you, you trust me. We're gonna be respectful regardless of situation, whatever.
Yeah.
But now it's not like that because it's elbow bumps, fist bumps. You put your hand out, but then people are like, ooh, like I don't know what to do. Like then they want to hug you and. Life was easier when you could just hand out. It was the norm. It was the general. But now it's not the norm anymore.
Yeah.
And now even when people do that, I'll put my fist out and I'll fist bump their hand. But then they'll go and do a fist.
Yeah.
And then I'll just take my hand. It also helps, or not helps. It also is because I wear those chunky Johnny Depp ass looking rings, big old goat's heads and shit like that. And so I don't usually fist bump people because I'll bust their knuckles open.
Then you'll get sued.
On a skull, yeah. But yeah, the world is such a weird place with like trying to greet people and hello these days.
That's why you just avoid people.
Avoid people and don't wash your hands. That's the moral of the episode.
Hey, I would like to shake your hand or fist bump you, but I touched myself.
Super Bowl is around the corner. You got anything planned? What are you doing? Who you for?
Who's playing?
Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs, okay.
And how they're still a team is. And Eagles.
Oh yeah, I've heard those 2 teams talked about a lot in the last year.
Those are going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, going to the ship. So I do not have a dog in the fight. However, Arthur, my best friend, is a Chiefs fan. He's from a little small town in Kansas, and he went to school. Or he didn't go to school in Kansas City, but he went to school. He's basically from Kansas City. He's not, but he's basically.
Okay.
Like he's not from Kansas City, but he is.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. That's the only place in Kansas City I know. Besides his hometown, and nobody knows about that hometown.
Sure. Yeah. Every time being from Santa Monica, but growing up in Utah, I always say that like that's my hometown because that's where my first memories were at.
Yeah.
But every time I tell people like, yeah, I grew up in Sunset. Where? It's in Ogden. Like, where the fuck is Ogden? Salt Lake City. Oh, okay.
Word Ogden reminds me of that book Ready Player One. Anyway, let's say okay, wait. When did you move back from Utah?
Well, so I moved back and forth a lot when I was a kid. Was born in Santa Monica. Lived in LA. Not exactly sure where, but I lived in LA till I was 4, and then from 4 to 8. I think it's 8 or whatever the 4th grade is. Lived in Utah, and then after that moved back to California. Lived here until I was in, I think I graduated my 6th grade year. Moved back to Utah for my 7th grade year. No, 7th grade year I was still in Clovis, California. So I did my, that's up near Fresno.
Okay.
Went there for 1 year in middle school, moved back to Utah for my 8th grade year, and then come my 8th grade year, I just removed myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been kind of on my own since.
Oh shit! You mentioned that before. So wow, what was that like? Being like, how old were you? Like 13, 14?
16.
You were 16.
Yeah, separated myself at 16. Found a program that would help me out, and then I kind of dangled the system a little bit. The program that I was a part of was basically helping me pay for a place to live because I was able to prove that I was an adult, that I could do it on my own. And so when I did that and I moved back to California, I finalized the process, and essentially what it was is I lived with my father for 4 years and then was collecting these checks that the government was supposed to be providing to help me with living costs. That way I could get like an apartment and all that other stuff. After 4 years of living with my dad, realizing that like the relationship was never gonna become something that it already wasn't, which is just non-existent. I moved out at 18. Used a lot of that money to try to write and record an album, which didn't work out.
As 18-year-olds tend to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is I had a lot of, I had a big opportunity. The band that I started got noticed. We were playing shows with bands that were not up and coming, but bigger. Like they're big bands now. Escape the Fate, Motionless. Those kind of guys used to come through when they were local bands, and so we played with them, became friends with them. I even like went out on the road and hung out with them a little bit and helped do like some touring stuff for like the Dead Rabbits, which is like their side project and whatever. So did all that, and then when I got back and we got ready to start playing big shows, because the album was going to be finished, I had connections with people who worked at Fearless and Sumerian, I think. And as we got ready to start transitioning into like release the album, go on these tours like as headliners and whatever, we ended up getting a call I got a call for the Bury the Hatchet tour, which was the big tour of the year with Falling Reverse and Escape the Fate. They had beef as a band because the singers used to be part of different bands, and one singer took over for another singer's band. So they finally had buried the hatchet. It was a big thing. Everybody was going to go see these bands play for the first time in years. And it was at that moment that the band, I discovered that the band was trying to copyright the music behind my back. They were trying to say that they wrote everything. And at that point, I didn't even tell them about the phone call. I just called the guy back and was like, yeah, we're not going to be able to. Sorry. And that was it, and hung up.
Damn.
Went to court, got the rights back to my music, and I'm very lucky that the producer I was working with, who unfortunately has passed away, rest in peace, Gus.
R.I.P.
But yeah, me and him wrote like this entire album, and everything was good to go. and then after that, it just kind of I got a bad taste in my mouth and was not about that anymore.
What kind of music was it?
It was like metal.
Metal?
Yeah, it was. So like a lot of my favorite bands were Avenged Sevenfold, 18 Visions, Papa Roach, Slipknot, like all those kind of guys.
Yeah.
And they all start super aggressive in the very beginning, metal. They find like a core fan base, people who are like diehard into the music. But then I had always had the plan of, well, I don't want to scream forever, so I wanted to learn to sing and fade it out and do all that kind of stuff. But,
What do you say?
I mean, I haven't in years. I've lost like my practice. I mean, do I still sing? Sure, in the car and in the shower and out here in the studio and whatnot. But
the only song I sing is "Sugar We're Going Down Swinging."
So "Sugar We're Going Down" is actually, funny enough, my karaoke song.
Dude, I get it. That's the only song I can belt. I'm not saying I can sing it well, but it's the only song I enjoy trying to actually sing.
You know what it is? It's because the singer like makes it fun. Like the way that he sings and his melodies, and like he's got a lot of like poetically fluid lyrics that when you say it and it comes off the tongue, it just feels there's a satisfaction to it for sure.
I wonder what rhyming words like that does to your brain. I've never looked it up.
Oh,
like
go ahead.
No, it's like it's definitely a thing. Like I feel happy when I'm singing. It's like I'm eating a bowl of sugar frosted Cheerios or something, you know?
Of all the cereals in the world, and that's where you.
I don't even know if that's a cereal.
Sugar frosted Cheerios, sure.
Yeah.
But
okay, hold on.
That's where you went. Like,
hold on.
In all the world, you have Lucky Charms, Fruit Loops, Captain Crunch.
Okay,
like,
well, you know what cereal? My go-to cereal would be Honey Bunches of Oats.
Oh my god!
Get the fuck out of here!
I cannot. Honey Bunches of Oats.
Or man, okay. Or
that's shit my grandparents used to eat. No lie.
I was close to my grandparents, kind of. My second choice would be, this is where I got from my grandmother. A bowl of bran flakes with sugar on it.
Dude, my grandparents were big into that, like just taking sugar and sprinkling it over, and then you get like the sugar milk at like the end of it.
My God,
I'm surprised that I'm not dead at 10.
Dude, for real. God, that between Coca-Cola and Grandma's sugar cereal, like we're lucky to be alive.
For sure.
You
know what my go-to always is it had the frog on the fucking front of it.
Honey Sugar Smacks.
Sugar Smacks?
Yeah,
Honey
it says
Smacks?
sugar in.
Whatever it's called.
I think it's called Sugar Smacks.
Not the frog.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I love dude, those are so good.
Problem was you had to eat them fast because that little rice like bean or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then it like gets soggy so fast.
Yeah, you get eaten quick. See, some cereals I like soggy though, like Waffle Crisp or Wasp? What? No,
Just Waffle Crisp.
Okay, so my brother, that's
Honeycomb?
No. Honeycomb's different. Waffle Crisp is I don't know what to call it. It tastes like waffles. It tastes like maple syrup, and it's crunchy, like, and it's got holes like waffles. Yeah, Waffle Crisp. My brother reminded me that our childhood was basically sitting in front of the TV eating Waffle Crisp. You know?
I have never heard. Well, now we're on a mission. Now we have to go find.
Dude, look, next episode, I'll make an exception. I'll get a fucking big ass bowl. I'll move the mic up here and fucking chomp down.
it.
Yeah.
ASMR some Waffle Crisp.
God. Yeah.
Do you prefer waffles or do you prefer pancakes?
Okay, if I'm in a restaurant, it's always pancakes. Fuck a restaurant waffle, unless they do something crazy with it. Because I was at the place. I forget what part of town it's in, but it's called like I Met Him in a Bar or something. And it's like this hip little breakfast brunch joint. They have big ass waffles, and they like make it. There's like whipped cream and decorations and like fucking fruity pebbles and all kinds of crazy shit. That's a fucking waffle.
That's okay. They actually have a place. It's called DK's Donuts. It's down in Santa Monica.
Okay.
And have you ever watched the documentary Donut King?
No, I don't think I've heard of it either.
It's literally that franchise. It's about these people that like did these insane donuts and whatnot. But it's in Santa Monica. It's off of 11th in Santa Monica. Yeah, I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah. It's
But
the
they will
59th parallel.
yeah, they will take donuts and put like the maple glaze of the donut over the top of like a bacon, so like the bacon is like in there.
Yeah, I've had
They'll
donuts like that.
do what else will they do? They'll put like Lucky Charms on top of like a buttermilk icing donut or something like that.
I've had crazy shit like that. I love those kind of donut places.
Yeah, do those, and the thing is, it's open 24 hours. So there's been times where I've woke up at like 3:15 in the morning.
With no traffic, you can get back there.
People are up, and I'm just like, "Hey, we're going to get donuts. You coming?" Yeah.
See, hold on. That's how I know I'm at rock bottom, dude. Like with eating, it's when I'm in a donut drive, like crispy. Usually, it's for me, it's Krispy Kreme because it's not far from my apartment. And like if I'm there at 3 o'clock in the morning, fucking ordering a dozen donuts for myself, which I plan to not even leave the parking lot. I get to the drive-thru window. I get the 12 donuts. I pull around. I park and I eat at least 6 donuts before I drive off. Sometimes the whole thing.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Have I ever done anything that
I don't think
fat?
I've ever like parking lot binged. Actually, that's not true. There's a place called Fat Sal's that I've done it.
Oh man.
Fat Sal's is the absolute shit. I love it.
Man, look, I love Fat Sal's, but sometimes their sandwiches are kind of dry because they put so much dry shit on there, like chicken fingers and French fries. And they only put a little bit of sauce. So every time I'm like, look, if you think you've put too much sauce, you haven't. Put as much sauce as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You have to use the whole bottle. That's fine. I'll pay for it.
That, or I mean, you could always just keep a bottle of sauce at home.
True.
That's what I do. I have a
also
whole
eat
fridge
it
full of like leftover sauces. Every time I go to the fast food joints, and they are like, "Oh, do you want like sauces?" I go, "Yeah." Whatever it is that I need. And they go, "How many do you want?" And I go, "However many you can give me, because if I don't need them and I have them at home, then I won't ask for them."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, okay." That's how I actually figured out the Taco Bell that's not far from my place. That's how I got them to start giving me decent amounts of sauce. Is I'm like if I don't need it, I won't ask for it, but I need it.
Yeah. Man, speaking of Taco Bell, now I was really young when I did this. I quit drinking when I was 22. This is probably when I was 18, 19, 20, 21. Because in Lake Charles, in my hometown, you can start drinking in bars when you're 18 because they do check IDs, but there's quite a few bars. I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus, but I was drinking in bars when I was 17 there, you know? So there was nights when I would wake up in a Taco Bell parking lot with food in my mouth and a Crunchwrap Supreme or a Cheesy Gordita Crunch in my hand and my foot on the brake. I'm not even in park. I just was so drunk that this is terrible. I quit drinking. I never did that again. I've still probably fallen asleep in a Taco Bell parking lot, like eating, because that food. Right. It's my ism, you know. Just wanted to share that with you.
You had mentioned that you were drinking at a bar at 16. There's a place that I used to go to when I was like 16.
Yeah.
No, I was 18. 18 for sure. But I used to sneak in Hollywood. And I would go drink all the time too, but I wasn't ever like belligerent or like crazy to maintain. I was always like very respectful. Like I was aware that, you know, I'm definitely underage and should not get caught doing this. And it wasn't until I want to say maybe 7 or 8 months ago that the bouncer that I'm friends with, he was like, "Just so you know, smartass, I knew that you were sneaking in on that tree like years ago when you were younger, like coming in and drinking and whatever." I'm like, "Get the fuck out!" Like, "No, you didn't." He goes, "Yeah, man." He's like, "I used to see you climb over it all the time." He's like, "But you were always like fine, so we never did anything." I was like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, good times.
Hell yeah! Cheers to underage drinking.
Yeah, more underage
Man.
drinking. It builds character.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think man, we used to get drunk and go hit trash cans like in my Cavalier, in my like 1997 Cavalier, And that was stupid. Look, everything I say about drinking was when I was over 12 years ago. So like I haven't done that shit in so long, and I know how fucked up it was. But now I'll share. Like we would like launch trash cans, like go 40 miles an hour and launch trash cans. Maybe not 40 miles an hour, maybe like 30 miles an hour, and launch trash cans over ditches and over fences. They would just go boom, boom. We used to go steal bags of leaves from out in front of people's houses, and we'd open the bags up. We'd dump out the bags of leaves on people's front porches. We were some shitheads.
Fuck, what did I do? Like when I was a kid, I only ever TP'd like one house.
Yeah.
I think I TP'd like one house. I remember like when I was a kid, I think every kid maybe goes through it, but there was like, you ever like throw a rock through a window?
Ooh, never done that.
No, I did that one time. We got busted. Had to pay for it.
Went to prison, Angola.
You know, like as far as like the trouble things that I did as a kid, I mean, it's really just we were sketchy. Like we used to go jump on empty boxcars. Because growing up in Utah, like things are a little bit different. You know, you can go run around the streets and you didn't have to really worry about the dangers.
It's the equivalent of tipping a cow, hopping a boxcar.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to hop in boxcars because we could. So I lived at the top of this hill. We used to get on our skateboards and go down the hill, and you could haul ass. Like your board would top out at a certain speed. As long as you just stayed on your board, you didn't get the speed wobbles, you know, we would go down this hill and we would make it all the way to another friend's house who he lived on the other side of the tracks. Not in like a bad way, just houses were on one side, his was on the other. So we used to go skate, but we could also, if we hit that before we got to his house, the park was off to the right side, just after the tracks. Through the park, there was like a big old walking circle that they used to like have.
Yeah.
The parents could go walk while their kids are playing
Yeah.
on the playgrounds. And in the back corner, there's a part of the gate. There were two fences, and both of them were cut, so you could go like sneak in there. And it's where we used to go in there, and like some kid had left like a nudie mag, and some kid had like there was like beer bottles and shit.
Hell yeah.
And we never
bottles
like
and
drank
beer.
any of the beer or whatever, but you know, like we looked at the mag and whatnot when we were a kid. But anyway, whatever.
Okay.
You'd get through that fence, then to the next fence, and then you were literally right along the tracks. And we used to get like railroad ties and whatever. But the train used to come by from time to time, and if it was super slow, like if it was an empty box car and it just was like moving to like get out of the way, it would transfer between these tracks. And if it was moving slow enough, we'd go and we'd jump on it. We would just sit there, and it would take us to the skate park that was like 2 cities away. And so we used to do that all the time.
Hell yeah.
Super sketchy, but like never caused any trouble. We didn't do graffiti or anything too much. Actually,
No.
I did do graffiti one time, but we took candles and we wrote on like the glass windows of our school or of our elementary school.
Fuck yeah.
It was wax. It was wax.
Yeah.
You know, they got it off like the day after. So
Man, but when you're young, that's like a prank, man. Because my buddy, when I was a kid, this was probably 7th grade. He was older than me. He jumped up on top of the roof of a building to write "I love you, Sarah" or something like that, and duct tape on the gym window the morning before an assembly. You know, and that was the biggest deal when I was in 7th grade. Oh my god, I can't believe Matt did that. Oh shit. You know.
Fuck, I climbed on so many buildings. You know, actually, it's funny because now that like the memories are slowly flooding back. I also broke into my elementary school one time, and when I say broke in, the door was unlocked and we opened it and whatever. But we went in and we ran around. Didn't do anything. We just like the hallways were carpeted with like that thin, crappy school carpet.
Yeah.
Which is basically just like fuzz on concrete.
Yeah.
And you fell and you hit your skin your knee, and like it would just rub the skin off. It wouldn't like hurt your knee or whatever. It just was
fuck, I hate
prone
that.
to like it was like sandpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Is what those carpet was like.
Yep.
But we took our skateboards and we just like skateboarded from one end because it was a straight hallway. Like the elementary school that we went to when we were younger was on one end bathrooms, On the other end, emergency exit. There were bathrooms on the sides throughout, and then you had occasionally a hallway to like go down, and there would be like 4 classrooms. But other than that, the main school is just one giant long hallway. And so we took our boards and we like opened up the back door, skated down that hallway as fast as we could, and that back door used to go onto the loading dock, and then the loading dock would drop off into the where the truck would back in. And so we went as fast as we could because we knew that we wouldn't have to do anything. If we just went, hauled ass on our boards, and just stayed on it, we would come out the door, land on the loading dock. You could position yourself just enough to where then you would roll off the loading dock, and all you had to do is just land.
Hell yeah.
But it was like, 2 stairs land, and then there was like a loading dock that you would come off of.
Shit. What was the gap like 3, 4, 5?
I mean, there was no gap.
Oh, there was no gap.
There was no gap, but I mean, as far as like the drop, I mean, the loading dock had to have been.
Oh no, I understand.
I don't know,
it's just like a loading dock.
Feet.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's got like the black things on it that the trucks can bump into, and
No, I got you. I misunderstood. Hell yeah, that's fun.
We like skateboarded our asses down this hallway, and they just came shooting out the back, and we all did it just once. That was it. And then we closed the door and left. Then I remember them being like, all right, I gotta go, like, going home. Okay, cool. They went home. I lived 2 houses away from our elementary school, and so I went home, got my dog, and then we used to take him and walk back up behind the school. And when we were doing it, the janitor had showed up and was like, hey, like, have you seen any kids running through the school or anything like that? I was like, nah, man, just walking my dog, just got here. He's like, all right, if you see anything, let us know. I'm like, all right, cool. And him and the cops like driving around, like looking. They were obviously looking for us, but totally got away with it.
That's awesome. I love that shit. Yeah. Fuck, I don't even know what to say about that. I can relate to that on so many levels.
You never did anything like sketchy as a kid? You never got like any involvement with the cops?
Yeah. We the first short film I ever shot, we were probably 12, 10, 11. Maybe 10 or 11. When my buddy's mom would go to sleep, when she'd go to work, we would leave her house. We'd walk to our elementary school. This is when we were in middle school, but we'd walk to our elementary school that we went to, and we would climb on top of the roof of the school and shoot. We shot a movie, and
shot a whole fucking movie on top of the school.
No, we shot like a short, like. Okay, look. When we were kids, it wasn't. It was not really a short film. It was we filmed each other doing characters, and we came up with a loose plot. Like my buddy Nick. He was a cop in the movie, and there's this one line I'll never forget. And I was like, hey, cop, what are you doing? It's cop work hard or something. I forget how I prompted him. He said, it's like a piece of cake with milk. And for some reason, that's not very funny. But when I was 11 years old and hearing him describe cop work like that cracked me the fuck up. I thought, oh my God, we're going to be the next Jim Carrey. We're so funny. But we don't have that tape anymore.
Boo.
I know, dude. It'd be so funny to my friends now. Probably to nobody else, but people that know me.
You know what kind of like sparked me on this whole thing of like really wanting to like do the podcast, do the radio show, all these other things is somewhere along the lines, and I'm starting to get it now, somewhere along the lines, we as like a society lost, I guess, the need to take pictures of anything other than ourselves. And so like those are things that I wish I had. Like I wish I still had, like I wish I had a camcorder back then, because like the things that you like did or remember, it's like that would be so cool to go back and just revisit. And so that's part of like doing this. It's like I want to be able to sit down and have conversations with my friends, remember what was going on in the world and what did we talk about, what were we interested in.
Yeah, man. As you're talking about this, I remember I had a tape recorder, like an audio tape recorder, and a voice recorder, and me and my buddy Ryan used to talk into this thing all the time. And I just realized, because I've been bipolar my whole life, but I didn't know it until I was 20, and I was so manic as a kid. And when I get manic, I become so much more funny. Like probably dangerously funny, but uh um I just remember that just walking down the streets in my hometown recording ourselves, you know. And you know what? I thought I was funny back then. I probably once again probably not funny at all. But I just had the realization that I was manic the whole.
I mean, I've had some funny recordings of just walking down the street, but also it's like, if it's funny to you, like there's got to be somebody else who's obviously gonna find it hilarious.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing with like comedy that I'm slowly starting to understand. I don't know if I told you or mentioned it, but part of my New Year's resolution was like I've just been such a fan of comedy for so long and so many different styles, whether it's movies or stand up and all that, that I decided to start trying to venture into it a little bit myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean it's a whole different beast, but I'm starting to realize like what is and isn't funny, because like I told the same joke to a couple friends 2 or 3 nights ago, and they rolling hysterically laughing, all that, but the joke that I told to the group of people that I was with, like nothing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like finding the right audience and all that. But
I get that.
that's how YouTube got started. Most people weren't even like making like silly videos, like they were just recording themselves at first.
Yeah.
Got a following.
Yeah.
Dude, it's wild what YouTube has become. Now it's like a whole on like almost network.
Yeah, I almost don't even need Netflix, you know?
Oh yeah, I have found myself watching documentaries, music, concerts, God, whatever else. I just started getting into the whole YouTuber thing.
Yeah.
Like realizing that there are people who just watch videos and react to it. And it's kind of like a PG Tosh.0 to a certain degree.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is this guy named Cinnamon Toast Ken. And that's what he does, is he watches like TLC shows and then has a funny comment reaction to it.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm starting to understand the concept of it. It's brilliant. It's getting there.
Oh yeah. This is I'm thinking about taking this acting workshop from a lady. It's a comedy acting workshop or something. Her name is like Leslie Klein or something.
Okay.
I just learned about it from my roommate. She's supposed to be really good. I don't know. I'm very curious to know what comedic acting classes are like, you know?
Yeah.
I've only taken drama acting classes. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say there. I want to take comedic acting.
The whole world of comedy. Maybe one day. Let me produce a stand-up special.
Hell yeah.
Be around comedy all day and production.
Hey, we could rent out a stage at this place I shot at before. It's like a black stage, and we can just put a laugh track.
Yeah. Just get up there, just say shit, and just add a laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I got a controller. I bet I could program a sound to it and just add in laughs.
Yeah.
But yeah. But so with all the goals that you have going on, be motivated. What do you usually find yourself like
gravitating towards?
Relaxing? Like how? Oh. So I'm trying not to make it about myself, but I dawned upon me the other day that between this, trying to find the next production gig, and still working full time, that I just don't have a chill mode. It's very much I'm doing one thing or the other, and if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm not being productive. And
dude, that's the fucking hustle culture mentality. I think it's so toxic.
Oh, it absolutely is, because I can't even sit down. Like I started watching The Last of Us, and it's so hard to sit down and be like, no, sit here and watch something for an hour.
Because, I can't.
Because then in an hour, it's like, fuck, I could have sent emails, done this, done that, done laundry. Like, it just sucks so hard to be in that mentality. And I don't mind it, but I got to figure out how to like turn it off.
Yeah.
You know, how to relax, how to enjoy things. Like, I'm out here every time I want to play music, I'm like, oh, I should stream it. But then it's like, no, just play it. Just have fun, enjoy it, you know, relax. And do you have anything that you do that's your like go to relax? Or
I don't ever relax. I do. Okay. Sometimes I go to my buddy's movie, my buddy's condo, watch movies with him. Like we watched a bunch of John Michael McDonough movies. Not a bunch. We watched 2, and then we watched. What else did we watch? Man, we watched all kinds of shit. I tried to watch some Paul Schrader flicks that I hadn't seen before, and but I didn't like both of those movies. I was actually really surprised because Paul Schrader's one of my heroes. He did like Taxi Driver and Autofocus and stuff like that. Autofocus. I actually wrote a song about this movie. That's how much I fucking loved it. It's about Bob Crane, and it stars Greg Kinnear and Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I know all those names.
Yeah.
Weird. How do I not? Anyway.
Well, okay. Yeah, it is buck-ass wild. It starts out as a friendly, like, Leave It to Beaver type movie, and it goes darker than most movies. And I fucking love it.
Darker.
It's fucking horny as fuck.
Hold on. It's
horny as fuck, man.
Okay.
Paul Schrader is the horniest fucking writer, man. I fucking love it. It's like it's basically about sex. It's not about sex, but it's about one man's slip into a dark sex world. You know,
dude, dark sex world. I went to a HorrorCon. It was HorrorCon in Pasadena.
okay.
Midsummer Scream. That's what they call it. It's called Midsummer Scream. And you can see like new animatronics. You can see new costumes, special effects, makeups. You can buy. It's like Comic-Con for horror nerds. There was a guy that was selling movies, and the movie was called Hitler's Memoir, and it had nothing to do with Hitler at all. Because I took the DVD and I asked the guy, I was like what is this? And he proceeded to tell me that the guy named it that because he knows that most people weren't gonna watch it.
Dude, people do that, man.
He made a movie that's all about. He was like this accountant, had a bunch of money. He was making 6 figures a year, and in making 6 figures a year, he just up and one day was like, enough. He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm gonna go and live my life until the end. And so he took his life savings, all of it, and started buying drugs and hookers and just lived a life ridiculously. I don't know how to.
I get it.
Hookers and strippers and drugs and that was it. And I was so intrigued. I've never found the movie since, and I've looked online, but I'll fucking never forget that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, just some dude just up and done with life. And I was like, okay.
That's similar to Autofocus, but like different. It's like this guy didn't choose to do it. I mean, I guess he did, but like it's just different circumstances. Also, I want to tell anybody listening out there that John Michael McDonough's movies, Calvary and The Guard, fucking incredible. He is a very slept on director. His movies are dark as fuck, so fucking funny, man. It's like I don't know anybody else who's seen them. I know probably plenty of people have. I just don't know anybody else who's seen.
What? Who?
John Michael McDonough.
John Michael. Here, let's see. Let's look at what else he's done.
Yeah, he did a couple other movies that I don't normally like. Rotten Tomatoes, like usually, like if it has like a 90 or 90% on the Rotten Tomatoes, it's pretty good. MC, yeah, I think. Yeah, it's him.
Let's see.
Cavalry and The Guard, right there, the two first ones. I haven't seen any of his other ones yet. Oh, Ned Kelly. I've heard of that one.
What else he's done?
Yeah. His brother's more famous, I think. His brother did In Bruges. Did you see In Bruges back in the day, like in 2007?
He's only done 3 movies.
Yeah. What? Well, no, it's the ones he's known for.
Oh, he's a writer though.
Yeah, he writes. He probably writes a lot more. He and his brother write.
Okay, let's see. He's written on The Forgiven, War on Everyone, Cavalry, The Guard. Seems to be a very niche director.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, based on just what I'm seeing on the.
Yeah, he's Irish too.
On what I'm seeing on like the cover arts, it looks like he's big on like war and military and all that.
Yeah, and Cavalry though, it's about a priest. I guess I could tell you this because it's the very first scene in the movie. Somebody in his congregation is going to shoot him, and that was one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen.
Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, Chris O'Dowd's in it. Yeah.
Have you seen IT Crowd?
Not a lot of it, but I have seen some of it.
It's actually it's
supposed to be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That
it sounds like the story of Jesus. Somebody's coming to kill him.
Yep. Okay.
Seems to be a reoccurring.
So other ways I relax. I try to read, and I like before I decided to start writing, I read like 5 or 6 books a year. That's not like 12 like some people try and do. Like I'm gonna read a book every month, but and I haven't read a lot. But I just got the Tao of Pooh, like Taoism, like Confucius and Lao Tse and all that stuff, you know. Well, it's like Taoism through the eyes of, or through the lens of Winnie the Pooh, and it is.
Hold on, start the fuck over.
Okay,
I'm missing something. What?
Okay. Taoism is an Asian. I don't know if it's Chinese. Might be Chinese, but I don't know. I don't want to be ignorant. I'm ignorant.
We're a dumb ape.
I know, I'm a dumb ape. Yeah. So it's Asian, okay. And Taoism is probably Chinese, but I don't know for sure. So it's Taoism, through the lens of Winnie the Pooh. Like, it's the author explains Taoism through Winnie the Pooh parables.
What the fuck? Hold on, let's look this
dude, and it is so relaxing. Because I don't even know how to explain Taoism. I haven't read the
What am I searching? What do I even begin?
Tao of Pooh.
Tao
of Pooh. Pooh.
And this is getting real.
That's it right there.
Shittied. It's getting shittied up in here.
Oh man, no, this book.
The Tao of Pooh.
Yeah, I think it's actually pronounced Tao. The book's character Winnie the Pooh.
Taoist principle of non-action or being. Other characters such as Alice Pigotune affect human tendency to overcomplicate.
Yeah, that's what it's about. And I fucking love it. It's so peaceful and relaxing.
The Tao of Pooh is a 1982 book written by Benjamin Hoff. The book is intended as an introduction to the Eastern belief system of Taoism for Westerners, or Taoism, however you say it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It allegorically?
Where?
Is that allegorically?
Yeah, allegorically.
Jesus. Never had to say that word in my life. Allegorically
employs
the fiction characters of Winnie the Pooh stories to explain the basic principles of philosophical Taoism, whatever.
Yeah.
The book was on the New York Times bestseller for 49 weeks. Hoff later wrote The Tale of Piglet, a companion book.
Yeah, I just learned about that. I'm going to have to get that book soon because I'm going to try and finish this book this week.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. It just gives me this calm it's like I'm wearing a warm blanket when I'm reading it. Just very happy.
what did I read? I read it's a silly book. It's called The Philosophy of Batman.
I've seen.
And there's a guy who, girl, I don't know who the author is, but they are actual PhD psychiatrists that dive into the whole like psyche of if this man was real, how messed up is he really, because he's taking children and he's using them like in this war. And he dresses as a bat and he doesn't have any like connection. Like it's pretty interesting. I think I read it once and it's just kind of stuck with me ever since.
Yeah.
I should read it again. I need to read more.
We all need to read more. I've been trying to read. I follow this film critic called Film Crit Hulk. He writes these very insightful essays on movies and stuff like that. I try to read one of his articles every day, but sometimes they're pretty lengthy. Sometimes that's my quota for reading it. I'm just reading one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to do a quota of because I enjoy comic books, but again, just sitting around and reading anything for personal pleasure, I feel is like a waste of time, and that's what I need to get out of. I need to learn like once a week, come home, shut everything off. Like I'm so scared to turn my phone off, right? Because what if somebody calls for work, or what if somebody needs something? Where it's having that like connection and just being like, no, like leave phone on. Where I need to learn more to come home, turn shit off, just be in it for myself, all those kind of things. Like I need to figure out like more Zen tactics.
Yeah, I feel you.
Have you ever did you ever follow that the Snowden podcast he did?
No.
If you haven't, I know I'm so late. So late. I listened to his conversation, and the way that he explains how cell phones work
Yeah.
and how they're meant to feed information. He basically explains how your data is sold, how your data is sold, and why you get the ads that promote things.
Targeted ads.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
All the more reason to shut your phone off once a week.
Yeah. And I used to be like, I don't care. I don't have anything to hide. They can do whatever. But it's actually very malicious and very insidious, like how they fucking target. Like you can be talking about Batman, and then later on I'll have a targeted ad for like this new Batman comic that I've never heard of. You know, which is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, I guess it depends on whether you want to read it or not.
Yeah, probably do.
If you want to read it, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I also don't want to spend the money, so I feel like they're tricking me into spending money.
I mean, absolutely. That's all that those things are, is figuring out how to trick you into.
Oh, so this is what I heard of a long time ago. So I heard that airlines can tell when you're manic, like by your searches and stuff, you know? So they target you, and when you're manic, you're more likely to spend money, which I can relate to, because whenever I get manic, I'm Amazon, plane ticket, you know?
Yeah.
So they target you when you're manic, and then you're more likely, they serve you an ad for an airline, and you're way more likely to buy a plane ticket.
Really?
Yeah, that's what.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past it.
Actually, no, I think I read it.
It sounds like the technology, whatever it is, selling tactics.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've just like there pops up on Amazon. It's like, Jesus.
Man, there's been times out there, but where I've thought something, like it pops up.
Yeah.
Weird. And then I'm racking my brains, like, did I say that out loud? Must have. Like, I had to. They're not reading my mind.
Oh, it's absolutely reading your mind. For sure. For sure.
You
seen anything in the news lately? Anything that's caught an interest.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but people have told me about the balloon Chinese airplane.
Yeah, what the fuck was that all about?
Something about them. They were flying and taking pictures, and
Here, let's see.
they were doing something about spying on like air bases, like military bases.
Yeah, I saw something about it, but I don't know a whole lot. Let's see. Chinese space balloon. Oh, it got shot down apparently.
Yeah.
The Chinese balloon was shot down by the U.S. military.
Over water.
Here's how it went down. A U.S. fighter jet shot down a suspected Chinese spy blimp above the Atlantic Ocean off the South Carolina coast Saturday, ending a 3-day spectacle that dominated headlines and created an international incident. What do you mean it created an incident? Was it not a spy balloon?
Think it was a weather balloon or a spy balloon? I had thought it was a spy balloon.
Oh. See if we can find. The operation took place at the direction of President Joe Biden in the U.S. airspace as the balloon drifted over the water. Senior defense officials said that the balloon was successfully downed by a single missile at 2:39 p.m. Told them to shoot it down, Biden told reporters. Following the large, slow-moving balloon over the ocean reduced the risk of falling debris.
And
Does it say officially what it was? What the fuck? China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs issued a statement late Saturday condemning the strike. The U.S.'s use of force is a clear overreaction and a serious violation of international practice. China will resolutely safeguard the legitimate rights and interests of the company concerned and reserves the right to make further responses if necessary. What? What does that even mean?
does that mean they're gonna retaliate?
I don't know, maybe.
Yippee! I know people that have said, "Oh man, we should have shot them down the second we found out about it."
Diddling sites.
They would have shot it down.
So it looks like it was in fact a spy balloon. But it was insisting that it was a civilian airship used for weather research that it accidentally wafted into U.S. airspace. So it looks like the U.S. shot down this balloon, super unhappy about it, and then the Chinese government's like, "Oh, it's a weather balloon. Like, don't worry about it."
It's cool. We got plenty of them.
Yeah, and then they're like, "You overreacted. You know, there will be consequences." Like, overreaction to what? Like, if it's over our shit, we're gonna take care of it. Man, this whole concept of war and like politics and whatnot, the older that I get, the more insane it is to me, because they employ 18-year-olds, people who are not, smart enough to even understand our own personal selves, let alone the world around us. Throw them out in this fucking battlefield, and they're like, "All right, go shoot somebody on my behalf."
Yeah.
To each their own, and I respect the troops that decide to do it and who do join for the reasons, which are, like, oh, well, our country needs people to protect it, and I'm going to be one of them. But Jesus Christ, like, shit like that, where it's like these balloons and everything else, it just kind of puts it into perspective how silly all this shit is. Like, a war could start over these kind of things, and people could be killed simply because of, again, fucking balloon.
Yeah.
We live in a world where, like, we could turn on AI. Like, everybody's so fucking afraid of the cars and the machines and all this other shit that it's like, yeah, but machines know that they can't. Like, if the machines are smart enough to kill us, machines should know that they're not capable of doing everything that we are, which means they need us to survive. So, we're going down into conspiracy theory shit.
That's some Philip K. Dick shit.
I haven't even smoked today, and I'm already fucking on this.
Woo! Well, I'm an anti-imperialist. Fuck war. Fuck. I think everything should be done diplomatically. I know that's kind of unreasonable for some people, but yeah, I don't know. I want to say fuck war, man.
100%.
And that's what my thinking was. And I haven't thought about this a whole lot, and I might be just an idiot. But like, if you blow it up, if you blow up their balloon, which I get, I guess we should have, and as long as nobody would get injured, you know.
Right.
But like, China retaliates, you know, then that's not good. Like if they retaliate with like force and aggression.
I saw an article a couple days ago, maybe something about like we're close to like going to war with China in like 2035, something like that. War with China. Oh, 2025. It's closer than I thought. Air Force General predicts war with China in 2020.
Fun. What kind of wars are going to be? Because I feel like our wars are fought way different than they were.
Air Force General predicts war with China in 2025. Tells officers to prep by firing a clip at a target and aim for the head.
So, is this sensationalism or is this a real threat?
I don't know.
This
Four-star Air Force General sent a memo on Friday to the officers he commands that predicts the U.S. will be at war with China in 2 years and tells them to get ready to prep by firing a clip at a target for the head. In a memo sent Friday, obtained by NBC News, General Mike Minihan, head of Air Mobility Command, said, I hope I'm wrong, and my gut tells me... I hope I am wrong. My gut tells me we'll fight in 2025.
I hope his gut is wrong, too.
I hope his gut is wrong, too, because to be honest, if we ever get into a position where we go into, like, another, like, war, like, there's no way we don't just get fucking nuked, for sure. Our country talks so much shit, we have it coming.
Sorry. So
we're number one, are we?
No, we're not. Not with like not on all kinds of levels. We're not.
Have you seen Jeff Daniels? I think he was on a show. I forget what the show was, but he has something that a writer obviously wrote out.
Aaron Sorkin,
something like that. But he delivers it, and it's fucking on.
Is it called The Newsroom or The News?
Might have been.
I forget what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it was viral for a minute. Reshare it now.
Wait, I'm so sorry. What did he say though?
I mean, here, let's see. He pulls it up. Jeff Daniels. Yeah, it's called The News. Let's see. 5 minutes. I'm not gonna play the full 5 minutes.
Oh, this is the first episode. This is the very first scene of the whole series.
There's a part, let's see. Let's see. The part where he like goes off the rail with the questions. Let's see. Scan forward. It's easier when you have a producer on the show.
Yeah.
Here we go. This part. True. Yeah, that part alone where he's like, you're talking about freedom. Like there's so many other places that also have freedom. and it hits so true because a lot of my friends are from different countries. Like I've got an Australian friend, I've got a friend from the UK, another one from Russia. So it's like it's so funny when all of them. Not saying that Russian free. I don't know exactly what their government system is, but having friends from all over, like you get different perspectives, and it's just so funny every time. Like anything in American news is like we're number one, we're this, we're that, and then my friends are like, yeah, but we're better than you at this and this and this, and then you get another friend and they're like, yeah, we're actually better at this, this, and this, and then you start realizing like, oh, we're actually not number one at all for any reason.
Oh, dude, we're the worst, man.
Dude, we're slowly like we have very little resources. We don't even have baby food on the shelves anymore. Like baby food has been in like a shortage for a while. I don't know if that's even been fixed. Yeah, it's been pretty wicked.
Luckily, mom's got titties.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll keep. Well, I guess it'll keep.
Well, dad's lactate too.
It's not going to keep me alive, but then I thought about it and I'm like, it'll keep me alive long enough.
Yeah. Get your girlfriend to start. Oh God, no! I'm so sorry. I didn't say that. Hey, when you regain composure, do you have water in there for coffee?
I have water, yes.
I need to stave off my hunger a little bit.
Yeah.
Press the button.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. I couldn't tell. I see it now.
Yeah, well, let's get you some coffee, and you know what? We can actually we can wrap this up as well. That's not a problem because I know you got things to do. I got things to do, and yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I had a good time. It's always a good time with you,
Captain Bats.
As always, Tim, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Hey, when you talk to Rick, tell him I said what's up, man.
Yeah, I keep telling him to come through, and he just whatever. He's got shit going on, but all good. We all got shit going on, and some of us are lucky enough to have the time to do this, and some of us get tied up. So
we're gonna end it, and then we can go be problematic because that's what dudes do behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna go.
Say the N-word. No.
Oh my God. No. Who was it? There's a comedian. What is his name? I'm gonna have to find him, but he has a funny bit where he talks about that, where he's like, "Don't lie, like you say it in private."
Man, I really tried to be the same through and through. That's all I'll say. I said try.
Yeah, I think the only time that I've like accidentally let it slip is it's typically when I'm singing along to a song, and it's just because like there's the flow of the rhythm of words, and it's like hard to censor yourself.
Man, I don't even do that anymore. Like I'm not virtue signaling. I actually think it's funnier when I'm like shame on who tried to run game on it. It's funnier that way.
Just start changing the word to fucka.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Rafferty, thank you again for coming on the show. Later on this evening, we're going to be doing some Hourglass Radio, so stay tuned, check it out. That's it for the Rick Simon Show. So
watch The Garden Calvary.
Oh.
Is that it?
That's it.
Woo.
We tripped the power.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Funny. Boom, that was fun.